What is going on YouTube and Weight Loss Warriors? It's your boy C-Dub and I'm back with another video. And today I want to talk to you about intermittent fasting and what it does to your hormones. And I'm going to do it right after this. What is going on? My name is C-Dub. Thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to my channel, I lost 125 pounds eating just one time a day. Welcome. I started this channel to help you out with tips, tricks, and knowledge that I've learned along the way in my journey. To all of my weight loss warriors, I appreciate each and every one of you for clicking on my videos every time. My weight loss warriors, you know I love you. Now let's hop into this topic because it's interesting to think of. And what's going on in the world today is we're finding out more and more that hormones matter in weight loss. And a lot of people don't talk about it and it isn't quite mainstream yet, but it really factors in. And intermittent fasting fixes some hormone issues. So I want to talk about 4 different issues that it fixes and why that matters to you. And so first, we're going to talk about insulin. It is the hormone that we hear about most often when talking about fasting. But just to give you a brief understanding and idea, whenever you eat food, you secrete insulin. And insulin is your storage hormone. Insulin's job is to change things over to glucose and give you energy through glucose. So when it goes up, you're going to switch your body over to burning in glucose. And if you are overweight or mainly obese, there's a chance you're insulin resistant. And so what happens is your pancreas releases insulin, but it's releasing so much insulin because you've overeaten that your cell starts to reject the insulin and doesn't allow it to come in as easily, which makes your pancreas create more insulin. And so this is a vicious problem that leads to type 2 diabetes. But it also leads to us gaining weight because the higher our insulin goes, we're never able to get it back down to baseline where we can burn body fat for fuel, which is what we all want to be able to do. So insulin becomes a giant problem. The good news is it is fixable. The insulin will stop being created at the pancreas at such a high level if you fast. So if you go periods of time without eating, 16 hours or more, and you can go even long term in the beginning to just get your insulin back to a baseline. And you may not get there on day 1, and that's something that's very important and something that you need to understand. If you're doing a 16 and 8, your insulin levels may be so crazy high that it takes a while for them to go back down to baseline, and 16 hours isn't enough. But if you don't keep peaking it to the highest level by eating all day, and it's up here for day 1 and it comes down and it goes up and it comes down and it goes up, eventually you'll get it back down to baseline, which will help self-correct your issue, which is huge. So if you can get that insulin level to level out and not go as high as often, your weight loss worries are going to change because you're going to be able to switch from burning glucose to fat easier if your insulin levels don't get too crazy. We're going to group the number 2 and 3 hormone together, and they are leptin and they are ghrelin. And leptin and ghrelin are 2 hugely important hormones. They tell you when you've eaten too much and when you're actually hungry. And that is super important because as we get bigger, those hormones start to fall out of whack. And leptin resistance is a real thing. So leptin tells you when you've eaten enough, but your body will stop listening to the signals if you overeat all of the time. So being somebody that's morbidly obese, you've probably overeaten an awful lot, and your body will release the hormone to say, hey, you're eating too much here, but your brain is not reading the signal in the same way as it should. So therefore, you put yourself in a bad situation there, and you become resistant to understanding that it is there. But if you allow your body to fast, you will level that back out and you'll start to feel it again over time. It is also noted that people that have lost extreme amount of weight sometimes always have their leptin released too low, and they cannot be able to get to a point where they feel like they've ever eaten enough again, and they relapse on weight gains. But when you're fasting, you fix it. And you allow your body to tell when the leptin is too high or too low, and you begin to adjust. I can't stress to you guys how much better I feel and how much of an understanding I have of when I've overeaten now that my leptin is back working again. It's huge. And then on the other side, ghrelin Ghrelin tells you when you're hungry, and it's secreted through your stomach. And ghrelin lets you know that you're actually hungry. But it's very important to understand when your stomach is growling, that is not ghrelin, that is actually your muscles contracting as they push food down your small intestine. But if you feel them contracting, there's just no food there for it to push. That does not mean you're hungry or that your body needs the energy. And you will start to balance that out through fasting over the long term. Again, these are not things that are going to change in a month's time, but over the course of a few months, you're going to start to really feel when your body needs food because your ghrelin is going to be working, and then you're going to be able to tell when you've had enough food because your leptin is going to be able to work. That working with your insulin is just a huge step in the right direction in weight loss. And the final hormone, the granddaddy of them all, I think, is HGH, the human growth hormone. Now, I'm not talking about NFL players shooting up HGH. What I'm talking about is your body naturally makes HGH. And HGH is at its peak when you're going through puberty. So when you're a little kid, you don't get much of it at all. And then when you start to hit puberty, your body just starts to release tons of HGH. It helps you grow taller. It helps you get stronger. It helps you in all kinds of ways, both men and in women. It is a huge, very helpful hormone. But the day puberty ends and you stop growing taller, it starts to release less and less HGH as time goes on. And somebody that's elderly gets barely any at all. So we want to preserve it as long as possible. And the reason why we do is this helps with our bones. It helps us grow muscle, and it helps our skin. It makes our skin look better, and it helps us not appear to be aging as quickly. These are all huge things that we all want, and fasting helps it. And this was proven in a 1982 study where a guy, and this is kind of some misinformation too, so I'm going to break it down for you, where one individual wanted to fast for 40 days for religious purposes. He did that, and they monitored him to see everything that was going on, and the doctors were blown away because he had 5,000 times what he should have had in HGH. And so a lot of times intermittent fasters use that, and they say, you want 5,000 times the HGH, intermittent fast. Yeah, we're talking about a 40-day fast versus intermittent fast. But another study that was done in the 2000s, later, closer to us now, does show that you get 5 times the HGH that you normally would when you're in a fasted state of more than 16 hours. That's 5 times the HGH. So you can couple that with your weightlifting or your exercise, whether you want to or whether you don't. That's up to you. But the bottom line is HGH helps us look better, feel better, it protects our bones, and it grows our muscles, and it's something we need and something we get 5 times more when we're fasted. So I hope that some of this educated you. I've got a video popping up right here about ghrelin and leptin, and I got my face right here. If you click on that, you'll subscribe to this channel, and that will be great because it's free and the information I'm giving you is priceless. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.